Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to pass a parameter to an iOS widget in Flutter iOS application. So basically what we will be doing is that we will be creating an application. We will have one label which will display the user count from user defaults, and we will have a button, and as soon as we click on a button, whatever is the count inside user defaults, we will increment it by 1. Now what is user defaults? It is basically used to store key value data, something like shared preferences. But the reason I'm not using shared preferences is because the entire widget code can't be written inside Flutter. It has to be native iOS code with Swift. That's why I have selected something which can be accessible both from Flutter side as well as from our native iOS side. You don't have to use user defaults. You can use something like Swift data, core data, even you can fetch data from your API call. But just to keep things simple, I have used user defaults, but your use case for widgets can be completely different. So let's get started. So firstly, I have created a Flutter application. Also, one more thing, inside our widget what we will do is we will also display one label displaying the which get the value from user defaults. We will have one button, but inside, like I told you, we will be passing a parameter to our widget, right? So parameter will be how much we want to increment by. Currently we are only incrementing by 1 once you press the button, but if the user change that particular parameter to 10, then every time the user presses that button, the value will be incremented by 10. So it's up to you what exactly you want to pass it. I have kept the use case simple so that you can apply it to your own use case as well. So let's get started. Here is our Flutter application. I have imported this services.dart and I have just refactored this my homepage widget. So it is a stateful widget. I have created this method channel so that we can access user defaults as well. And here I have created one variable called data that will whatever value we get from user defaults will contain inside this particular data variable, and inside init state we just call this get value. So if you see get value here, we just invoke this particular method which gets the current value, and whatever value we get we just assign it to our data variable. Inside our build method we just taken one button, and here we are invoking a method called increment. Then it will give us what that value which has been incremented. It will also save it to user defaults, and we just update it to this particular variable, and this is the text for our button. And here we have another text which will display the actual user count which is stored inside user defaults. Right now we will have to write the implementation in iOS. So for that you will just have to open the XE workspace of iOS inside Xcode. I have already done that. Now typically whenever you use user defaults, if you have a little bit of knowledge of native iOS, you will be using something like user defaults dot standard. We can't really use that because we want this user defaults to be shared between both main iOS application as well as widget. That's why we have to use something called user default suite name. Let me make that very clear at the start. Also here if you see, you will have to open your app delegate. Firstly get hold of our Flutter view controller, then we get hold of our widget channel. So I'm passing the same name widget platform which we have defined it over here, so be careful with that. Then we have to define two methods, one called increment and second one is called get current value. So that's what we are using, get current value as well as increment. Then if you see increment, we basically get hold of user defaults. Now what this name should be, typically what I follow is group dot whatever is your bundle identifier. So if I just come over to my app, I go to sign in and capabilities over here, I will just copy my bundle identifier and I will just paste it over here. So I have already pasted it, but in case if yours is different, make sure you use that particular thing. Then this is our key. So we get value from user default. At the very start it will be 0, then we just append it, add one value to it, and then again save it to user default, send the value back to Flutter side. For getting current value, we just get hold of our user defaults, again using the same suite name, using the same key as well, and whatever value we get we just send it back to Flutter side. Okay, rest everything is just boilerplate code which you have to write. Once this is done, you will have to go to file, new, target, and here you will have to select iOS, then just search for widget. Here you will have to select widget extension, click next. Here just add the name as whatever you feel like. I will just add this as Flut app widget, make sure you uncheck this include live activity as well as include control, and then just click on finish. Once you click on finish, you have to click on this activate button as well. Once that is done, go to your project. In target, select your runner app, then click on plus capability, select app group, and here you will have to add what typically what I make sure if you click on this plus button here, you will see group dot, then I just append whatever is my bundle identifier to it, and I just click on OK. So that's how this is done. Then what I will do is I will go to our extension again. Here I will click on plus capability, select app groups, and here again we can just directly search whatever we have added just now. If you're not able to see it, you can just click on the plus button, but I'm able to see it over here, so I'll just check this particular option. Okay, once that is done, I will just go to our widget. Now if you remember, we are storing a count value inside our user defaults, right? So I'll just remove this. So the starting point for a widget is this simple entry, so we will have to add our what we are getting from user defaults count value, right? That's what we want to display. So you can just add this count over here. Okay, now where is this simple entry used? So it is used over here, so we'll have to pass this count value as well. Now the count value we will get it from user default, so for that I will create a simple helper function. For now I'm just writing this something like this, so I'll just copy this. Okay, I will paste it over here as well. Okay, and here also we need to paste it, but for now what I can do, I can just comment this out. I can make this as an array, and here I can just pass it like this. If you don't want your widget to update automatically because you are updating the widget on button click, you can just add it as never, but I will leave it up to you how you want to do it. For date I will just do this like this dot now, and we have to add a count value as well, right? So I'll just copy this and I will add it over here. Then we have to write this get value method, create this. So for this I have created one iOS project for my iOS video recording. I will just open that and then I'll explain it to you what exactly I'm doing. So I will be copying some code, sorry about that. So here I will just copy this get value function and I will paste it over here. Now here we will have to replace this with our own suit name. So in case if you forgot, this is our suit name. Also at the top, make sure you select your app again, otherwise while running you will by mistakenly run directly your widget, which is fine, but I don't really like doing that. Okay, so this is done. And what was our key? Stored number. So this is fine. So basically we are getting values from user default and sending it back. If no value, then just return 0. Alright, next here we will get an error because it is expecting count. This is only used for preview purpose, so I'll just comment this out. This is not really necessary. Then we have to change this particular UI, right? So what, again I'll just go back to my over here. Sorry, I'll just copy this entire thing and I will paste it over here. So then I'll explain it to you. So I'll just remove this. So this first I'll just indent it properly. I'll just scroll up. So first value is the value which is stored inside user defaults. Second is the increment count. Now I haven't told you how to add this increment by to our configuration. I'll come back to that later. Then I have one button which will help us to increment the count which is present inside user defaults. Now you can't directly add a click listener to your button. That's not how you do it inside widgets. For button you have to use something called app intent. So we'll have to create this particular Swift file. So I'll just copy this, right click, new empty file, and I'll just paste it like this. So it will create a Swift file for me. Again I'll just go to my practice project and I'll copy some code and then I'll explain it to you. So I'll just copy this and then I will just paste it over here. So here you can see we have this increment intent. The user default value key is stored number. Then it takes this increment count which we are sending it from over here. Okay, again we have not defined this, we will define this soon, but that's why we have defined this increment count. If we get null or undefined, then we just make it as 1. If we get it, then we just assign it to our increment count. And once you click your button, this particular method gets called automatically. This method is overridden from this app intent, and again this should, again we don't require Swift data. Okay, so here we can just rename this again. So I'll just copy that. So it is com.example.flut app for me. So I'll just go over here and I'll change that. Then here is our current value, this is the new value, and we are setting it to our user defaults and then returning the result back. So hopefully this is clear to you. Once this is done, we'll have to define this particular increment by, right? So for that we have to go to app intent. Here you can see they have already created a parameter for it, but they are passing emoji. I don't really want this, so I'll just remove it. And for me what I want is, I'll just, again I want a count, right, increment by count. Okay, and by default the value is 1. So I'll just copy this, I'll paste it over here. So this particular value user can change it and pass it to our widget. So hopefully now all errors are gone, so this error should also go away. Let me see if there are any other errors. Okay, so here we are getting that error because we have removed that favorite emoji. Instead we have this increment by, right? So here you can just hard code this value, doesn't really matter. I'll just copy this, we are not really using this code, so I'll just paste it over here as well. Okay, so hopefully all errors are gone now. So I'll quickly run my application and show you guys the output. When I try to run my application, I got this particular error saying this cycle inside runner building could produce unreliable results, something like that. So to resolve this, you have to go to your project, go to runner, go to build phases, and select your target, the main app, and here you will have to move this embed framework above the run script, also this embed foundation extension above this run script, and then again try to rerun your application either from Flutter run command or directly from Xcode. I directly run it from Xcode, but it's fine, do whatever you feel like. Okay, so here is the output. So if I just click on this increment button here, you can see the value is incrementing. So it is 8 now. I will just close my app and I will just long press on it, click on edit home screen, I'll click on edit, click on add widget, and then you just have to search for your app. So I'll just search for Flut app, I'll select it. Here you can select whatever design you want. I'll just select the big one, click on add widget, I'll click on done, and here also you can see the increment count is 1 for now. And if I just click on increment, here you can see the value is changing. We'll just long press on this widget, click on edit widget, and here you can see the value is 1. I can edit this particular value, so just click on it, and here I'll just change it to 2. I'll click on done, and here you can see the increment is 2 now. Now if I click on increment me, here you can see value is 13, 15, 17. If I go back to my app, it is still showing 8 because I have calling this inside init state. What I can do is I'll just completely close the app and reopen it again, and here you can see now it is showing 17. So yeah, and if you see this particular thing as well, this is also 17. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.